going to talk about disappointments. How to deal with disappointments. I'm going to warn you guys, it might going to be a very serious video.
I remember, I think we bought it from Tesco in Newton Abbot, the ticket, and they read the numbers out and none of them matched, and my parents was like, oh, we didn't win, threw the thing in the bin. And I remember sitting there in front of the television, being completely devastated that our life was not going to change in the way I thought it was going to change. I wonder if that's where my dislike for gambling comes from. I remember failing my driving test 3 times. After the third one, I went, sod this, I'm not doing it anymore. Give up.
Our kids were born in India, and all I wanted is to get back home. The moment I opened the envelope, I see your visa was refused. And I remember at that moment that everything in my life just crashed. I remember the first few months after this, I didn't know how to deal with it. And speaking of keep driving, keep going, it felt like the end of the world for me. I warned you, serious.
Quick, make a joke. Penis. There we go. Balance has been restored.
No. One of the herbs I'm using for cooking is coriander, yeah?
Yes.
The Hebrew word for coriander
Yes.
is kusbara.
Okay.
Every time my friend said to me, kusbara, I started to laugh. Maybe because the first half of the Hebrew word is actually the word for vagina. But anyway.
Okay, that was the context we needed in order for that to be funny. Oh! Who's this?
You may have a video on that. Yeah.
My next one, I studied animal management and then I got a job in a small rescue centre. And then I had to leave that job and I worked in a pet shop. Now I didn't want to be working in a pet shop, I wanted to be working with animals properly and doing something positive, not selling animals. So there's a large organisation in the UK called the RSPCA, which is one of the leading animal welfare groups.
Every time you say RSPCA, you know what song?
Aretha Franklin?
RSPCA! Yes.
I'd applied for a job with the RSPCA to be an animal collection officer, which meant I would have gone out to places, rescued stray animals, a bit of wildlife. And
Straight in it? Straight. Okay.
Stray. Rescued stray animals and turned them gay. You know, straight in the light. So applied for this job, knowing that in the area of the country that I lived in, thousands of people would have applied for it. So I applied thinking, probably won't get an interview. Let's just, it's a good experience to have written the application and something else may come up. But then I got called for an interview.
Ooh.
It's like, shit, this is big. This is exactly what I want to do. So I poured so much time and effort into getting ready for this interview and wanting that job. And I remember I went and bought new shoes and I went to the interview and it was tougher than I thought, but I felt like it went really well. And they said, we've had hundreds of applications, we're only interviewing 6 of you. So I was like, wow, big pressure. So I thought it went okay. They said we'd hear back by the end of the week. So Friday came along, didn't hear anything. Monday came along, I'm thinking, do I chase them? Is that rude? So I left it for Monday. Tuesday came along, no, now I have to get in touch. So I rang them and they said, oh, someone will call you back. And then a few hours later, got that call saying, we haven't given you the position, we've given it to someone else. And that absolutely crushing, like I've set my mind on this is what I want to do, this opportunity's here, I've done everything I can, and now it's gone. And I'm back to working in a pet shop, in a massive shop that I don't want to be working in with no career goal whatsoever, and thinking, I've got to start all over again. You build this fantasy.
That's the thing, disappointment is based on a fantasy, isn't it?
Yeah.
How can you get disappointed without this fantasy? Disappointment is not like...
It's all in our head.
Yeah.
Because literally, nothing changed in my life. I still had the job. Nothing had physically changed from the moment I knew I didn't have the job to the moment I did know I didn't have the job whatsoever. But the disappointment comes from what you're thinking all the positives are going to be from this event. 2 years later, I then did get a job.
In RSPC.
Even better, I didn't even get... they gave the job to me without interviewing or advertising the position. I was volunteering there, and a job came up, and they said, "Look, this is yours if you want it."
So I wrote a bit because I need to...
He said the videos aren't scripted. He's got an A4 page here.
I met a guy when I was 19.
Whew, like 100 years ago?
When the dinosaurs were around. And I really liked him. And the thing is, when I was 19 and with all the gay thing, I was kind of fighting it. I was not sure that this is the path, this is for me. Because of my life and my decisions and everything, I decided I don't want to get involved with that guy, even though I liked him very much. And I remember when I was 25, which was after the dinosaurs gone from the world.
After the, yeah.
I remember walking back to my office, and he was there sitting, waiting for his interview. In that
drama.
And
it's like a character from series 1 coming back in series 6.
And it's not even Hollyoaks. He got the job and he started to work, and it was like 5 years after I saw the guy, and I was involved in a straight relationship back then and everything, and I wasn't sure if he's the guy. I started to flirt with him and realized that actually he knew exactly who I am, and he told me that one of the reasons why he didn't want to take the job is because I'm there and he knows my situation and everything. So moving forward a year or so, I got divorced and everything, and all I wanted is that guy. I was deeply in love. I was deeply in love with the guy. He was dating someone else. And there was one night or a week that he broke up with him, or there were problems and everything, so I invited him over to my flat. We had a very good night and we had sex. And I remember sleeping, and I woke up and looked at him, and I felt I'm so in love with him. I'm like the happiest person on earth in that moment. Morning came, he went to work. I remember arriving to the office very happy and,
with a spring in your step.
Exactly. And he messaged me straight away, and he said, please don't develop any hopes that we're going to have something together. And it broke my heart. It crushed me into pieces. Imagine the sound of... Maybe I will put it like... That was probably my first heartbroken, really heartbroken, and disappointment. It took me a while to get out of this disappointment. Yeah.
But now he has me.
Yeah. Life takes you, and again, this guy was a fantasy.
Well, mine's very similar. After I left home and moved up to here and was trying to start my business, I joined a rugby team. Met some fantastic friends who we're still fantastic friends with. And I think the second week or so, there was a guy there who I was like, oh, he's really handsome, I like him. And I think we matched on Tinder outside of rugby. So we chatted at rugby, and then we matched on Tinder, and I was like, oh, okay, what do I do with this now? Because obviously gay people are mental, and things that happen online don't really relate to what happens in real life. So I somehow managed to find the courage to ring him and ask him out on a date. It was a really big deal for me, and he said yes. So we went on 3 dates, I think. We didn't have sex, but
you didn't?
No. We went on a couple of dates, and everything felt normal. Like, I felt like a normal person who was going on a normal date. And then he went completely quiet for a few days, and then when I eventually saw him after training, I was like, what's going on? He's like, said, you know, it's not going anywhere for various reasons. And that disappointment was like, that glimmer of normality that I was feeling just disappeared again. And it was like, back to being weird and gay again. But it was the fantasy that it was going to become something more. Because again, nothing had really changed from him saying that to the day after him saying that. Physically, like rationally, nothing had changed, but hurt. It's very similar to yours.
Of course it hurts. It hurts because again, you build fantasy, you build something, you feel good about yourself. Because how many times really you feel good about yourself? Yes, we can be happy with who we are and what we are doing, etc., etc. But there's those moments when they take you to this virtual planet or exotic planet, and you feel like you're the king of the world. You feel like,
it makes you do something that you wouldn't normally do, and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
And it's like you feel so good about yourself, and then someone with a big hammer,
Massive chopper,
comes and crush it. Yeah, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with a broken heart? It's hard. It's how do you guys deal with broken heart? How do you deal with disappointment? Please comment below. Comment, tell us. I think it's important to share because it's,
sharing is caring.